Today we're diving into something every business owner has experienced at least once, that brilliant flash of inspiration when you've had what feels like the idea that could change everything. You know the feeling, don't you? You're in the shower, you're walking the dog, or perhaps it's 2 a.m. and you're lying awake when suddenly, ping, there it is. The solution to your customer's biggest problem, a gap in the market you've spotted, or a completely fresh approach to your industry. Your heart races, your mind starts spinning with all the possibilities, and you're convinced you've struck gold. But here's the thing. I've learned after working with hundreds of business owners and having hundreds of ideas myself. Having a good idea is brilliant, but it's only about 5% of the journey. The real magic and frankly, the real work happens in what we do next.
Welcome to the Talk Podcast with ideas strategist Linda Reed-Enever. Talk is where we chat about ideas and inspiration you can use to market your business. Get ready for practical tips you can implement today with your host, Linda Reed-Enever.
Let's start with a story. Last year, I was working with a client who runs a small accounting practice. They'd been struggling to differentiate themselves within the crowded market when what happened was their light bulb moment. They realized that many of their small business clients were not looking for just someone to sort their book. They were desperate for financial education. They wanted to understand the numbers and not just have them filed away. So they created Finance Fridays, an informal workshop series where they would teach financial literacy to the local business owners. It's a brilliant idea, right? Absolutely. But they almost let it slip away because they didn't know what to do with it next. The idea was amazing. And this is where most business owners get stuck. It's where we all get stuck. We have an idea, we get excited, we might even tell a few people about it, and then what? Life gets busy, doubt creeps in, and that brilliant idea gets filed away into our someday folder mentally, eventually joining the graveyard of good ideas and good intentions. Let's explore what makes an idea come to life versus those that go to the good intentions, ideas graveyard. And it's most probably the steps that take us from being a dreamer to a doer when it comes to our ideas. Step one is as soon as we come up with that idea, we need to capture it and clarify it. The moment we have the idea, we have to write it down. That's not tomorrow. It's not when we get to the office. It's not when we do something. We're going to lose the idea. We're going to lose the momentum. Use your phone, grab a napkin, grab a piece of paper, a receipt, whatever it takes to write it down. I now use AI to help me with this. If I've got an idea, I will put it in there, or I'll record a voice memo, and then I'll come back and get it to remind me to come back and explore that idea further down the track. We don't want to stop at just capturing it though. We want to make sure that we do. Within 24 hours, we need to clarify what we actually thought of. So we ask ourselves, what problem does this solve? Who would benefit from this? And what would success look like? My client's idea of teaching people about money became so much clearer when they defined it as monthly workshops helping local businesses understand their profit margins and basic financial planning. Now they had something to action. And that's where step 2 in the process comes in. Before we invest time, money, and energy, we need to validate whether this idea has legs, whether it can walk on its own. This doesn't mean that we're conducting elaborate market research. It means having conversations. Ring 5 or so potential customers. Post in a local business group. Ask your existing clients what they think. Some of my top performing products we've run here at Reed-Enever Group have all come from asking my client base, is this something that would be of value to you? The goal isn't to get everyone excited, though it's absolutely lovely and hey, exciting when it happens, but to understand whether you're solving a real problem. A problem that people would actually pay to have solved. So my client rang 10 of their existing clients and discovered something interesting. 7 of them immediately asked when the first workshop would be happening, and that was the validation. So after we've got the validation, we need to start small and we need to start smart. We don't have to go out on a massive scale because with this idea is going to need refinement. All ideas do. And this is where I see many business owners go wrong when they're taking their ideas to market. And I love being an idea strategist. They try to build the entire cathedral instead of starting with a single brick. Your first version will not be perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to exist. My client, for example, and I do this too, didn't hire a elaborate venue, hire caterers, make professional marketing materials. They booked a local room in a local venue and they created a handout and they invited the business owners to their first Finance Friday. The cost, it wasn't that high. It was a small room hire and a little bit of coffee and some biscuits along the way. But it was able to test the market. And they know that's going to work. And I do that quite often when I'm running my own workshops. And for those of you who attend my Get It Done series, That was a case of me doing some co-working and realizing that people needed a little bit more structure. So we created the structure in running a Get It Done to make sure that people can come together and beat the loneliness of business and also get things done. And that's what my client did with her workshops. She got people together. They were out from the loneliness of their business, but they were also understanding things they needed to understand within business. And that was how to manage their money. Now, once we've proven that idea has worked, we then scale with purpose, okay? We want to make sure it works on a small scale, then we scale with purpose. So we think about investing maybe in proper materials, designing some marketing, maybe looking at a proper venue, possibly running it regularly, and dedicating more time to it. Finance Fridays for my clients now runs twice a month. My Get It Done sessions now run monthly. Having a waiting list is also another great way to make sure that you can fill those workshops. And I have a wait list, and my client does as well, and they generate about 30% of the revenue of that event. But we didn't start there, okay? Neither did my client, neither did I. We earned our way to success. We ran the workshops, and both my client and I did this when there was maybe 1 or 2 people attending. We ran the sessions, and we built up the trust that we were going to consistently show up and then scale with purpose. And you will have that when you're putting together workshops or you're putting together ideas. Now, I know some of you might be thinking that this is all very logical, but what about the fear? What if my idea isn't good enough? What if my idea isn't as good as I think it is? What if I fail? Let's address this one head on, because fear is one of the biggest killers of good ideas. First, your idea isn't probably as original as you think. And that's actually good news, because if something similar exists out there, it means there's a market. And our job isn't to invent something completely new. It's to do it better, differently, or more specifically to the customers that we serve, to their needs. Secondly, failing in small scale is not the end of the world. It's educational. We learn stuff from it. And some of my best products and workshops have come from failing at small scale. If my client's first workshop would have been a disaster, they would have maybe just lost, just $100 in the investment. But they learned something valuable along the way. That's not failure, it's market research. If we learn something, we have not failed. And third, and this is quite crucial, the biggest risk isn't that your idea won't work. The biggest risk is that it will have worked brilliantly, but you never gave it a chance. I see so many business owners going, I could have done that, or I wished I did that, or someone else came out and did it before me. And the thing is that they had the idea, they just didn't action it. So we've spoken about the workshop angle now and how that's worked. But if you're not running workshops, this doesn't make much sense to you. So let's explore a couple of other times where ideas have worked. I know of a plumber, and he had the idea of an emergency preparation visit, essentially helping customers identify and fix small issues before they became expensive emergencies. It started with 5 existing customers. Now it's a separate revenue stream for that business that runs year round. It's preventative maintenance. And if you're a service provider out there, get out there and think about those things. Even cars, all of those options out there. The plumbing business was a great idea, but you've got carpenters, you've got maintenance, you've got all sorts of people that can be getting out there and having a look at that emergency preparation, or those fix it before they become big thing matters. And you've only got to think about it. You think of O'Brien and their glass chip ad. It's highly successful, and it's all about that preventative measure before they have to replace the windscreen, which is the bigger job, but the chip replacement is a better revenue stream. Another person I know runs a boutique, and they offer wardrobe audits. How cool is that? They're helping customers understand what they already own and then what gaps to fill. They began by offering it to regular customers for free. They now charge it as a consultation, and it has a 2-week wait list. How amazing would it be to walk into a store and go, okay, this is what I've got. This is what I love to wear. What else can I have to go with it? Or what else do I need to go with it to make it go further? And we know of a gardener locally who runs a garden education sessions, teaching customers how to maintain what they've created. It started with his own back garden and neighbours teaching them slowly, and then it became part of his business. He literally creates the garden and then teaches them how to look after it. He can still come back and maintain it, and he does in most cases. But this is just amazing in how that all happens. What you will notice about these ideas is none of them changed the world revolutionary. They were evolutionary improvements to the business that made their businesses more valuable to their customers. So here's my challenge for you. If you've got an idea that's been nagging at you, or you've had that flash of inspiration after this episode, don't let it join the graveyard of good intentions for good ideas. Write it down, clarify what problem it solves, Ring 3 potential customers this week and have a conversation about it. Then take the smallest step possible to test whether it has merit. Remember, the power of a good idea isn't its initial brilliance. It's your willingness to nurture it from concept to reality. That's why, as an ideas strategist, I love bringing ideas to life with you. Your customers are waiting for solutions that you might have already thought of. The question isn't whether you're capable of having good ideas. You are. The question is, what will you do with the next one? That's all for today's episode. If it has resonated with you, I'd love to hear about the ideas that you are working on. If you found the episode helpful, please share it with another business owner who needs to hear this message. And until next time, remember, great businesses aren't built on perfect ideas. They're built on good ideas that someone actually did something with and created impact. I'm Linda Reed-Enever. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Talk with Linda Reed-Enever. Make sure you subscribe via your favourite podcast app so you don't miss the next great episode. You can find more ideas and inspiration at enevergroup.com.au.
Hey, y'all. As a growing family, my husband and I love game night, especially when it's Wayfair edition.
Let's do it. You got to name as many Wayfair furniture and decor categories as you can. Ready? Go.
Sofas, bar stools, beds, ottomans, outdoor seating, bookshelves, kitchen tables, garden sheds, mid-century modern lamps.
Time. Nice. You got 9 out of a lot. Not too bad. Keep practicing by visiting wayfair.com, where you can shop every style for every home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.